ladies, here's how we are biochemically wired. And when you understand this, then you are operating in your power. When you use this to your advantage, then now you're standing in the power seat. So this is what happens when you initially meet a man, whether that's online or in person. When he has seen you, when he has seen your picture, when he has seen you in person, then you have triggered his testosterone. Testosterone is his sex hormone. Testosterone is what makes a man a man. Testosterone affects their brain in a different way. Do women have testosterone? Yes, but men have 10 times more testosterone than a woman. Testosterone is a man's sex hormone. So when he sees you, you are in the first phase called the attraction phase. That means that he wants the cookies, ma'am. The nook, okay? He wants your yummy spaghetti. He wants your pudding pie. Your mellow mushroom is what he wants, ma'am. And if you get caught up in the romance stories, if you get caught up in the exceptions where people tell the story where they met their husband and the first day he confesses love for her and then married her in 3 months and they lived happily ever after, then you're going to get your feelings hurt. Because even the best men with the best intentions are still biologically wired a certain way. And real men, they can control their behavior. So even though they are triggered, they're turned on by you, they would want to have sex with you, the men can control themselves. They won't jump in bed with you in 5 seconds, but it doesn't mean that they don't still want it, okay? It doesn't mean that their biology is driving them to be able to get your yummy snacks, ma'am. Your kibbles and bits, your Scooby snacks. So when you understand that, then you understand what is the target goal. Is his underlying goal that he wants affection, love, connection, and all that stuff? Yeah. But you gotta understand self-preservation is the first law of human nature. The human species will always do whatever it takes in order to preserve itself, to replicate itself, which means the body, women and men, will always do what it takes in order to continue the species. It's a mating game for a reason. Until he has fallen in love with you, ma'am, you're in the mating game. It's all biochemistry. And according to Dr. Helen Fisher, who is like the grandmother of the anthropology of attraction, she says it's never love at first sight. It's always lust at first sight, ma'am. Lust at first sight. That means he wants your gummy drops. That's what it means. When you understand that women are biologically wired to fall fast, men are biologically wired to fall slow. So when you meet a man, you are triggered to start producing oxytocin. Your frontal lobe shuts down. Some other neurotransmitters, I'm not going to get into the minutiae of all of that, are produced. And then your trust factor. So your inhibition goes down. The more oxytocin is produced, which is your bonding hormone, the more likely you are to trust him just by your feelings. Just by your feelings. So certain sensory of, am I in danger? That shuts down. Fear, that shuts down. Discernment, that shuts down for a woman. And for a woman, she can fall in love with a man or deep in lust with a man because she's producing a strong bonding hormone, oxytocin, simply by talking to him, simply through text. Men do not bond like that, ladies. They are not like us. I want you to put that in the chat. And if I could get you to understand anything else that I say here, is that men are not like us. Put it in the chat. They don't think like us. They don't date like us. They don't fall in love like us. They're not biologically wired like us. They don't operate like us. And the Build-A-Bear is talking about not true when we're talking about science, when they've never dated a man. And if you did date a man, sir, no judgment, okay? But a man dating a man is a whole different experience than a woman dating a man. I bet you, sir, I've dated more men than you, okay? And for those of you who don't know, I have been doing this for 2 decades. I did a dating experiment where I went on over 100 dates in a little over 3 months. I interviewed over 4,000 men, women, and couples. In the pool of people that I interviewed, over 2,500 of them were men. And for over 90% of the men, they didn't even know why they were doing the things that they were doing. Over 90% of the men, when I asked them, have you ever really liked a woman and after you had sex with her, you were no longer interested in her? And when I asked them, did you know why? The men, overwhelmingly, over 90% of them said they didn't know why. As soon as they had the ejaculation, they lost all interest in her.